One.
How did you celebrate your birthday as a child? Well, most children celebrate their birthdays with cake and ice cream and, of course, candles on top of their cake. But how do you celebrate the 4th of July? Well, the American tradition is to use fireworks. Many people associate fireworks with Independence Day, but their original use was not in the United States. It was in China and India. Legends say there was a Chinese cook who accidentally spilled saltpeter into a cooking fire, producing an interesting flame. Saltpeter, also known as gunpowder, which is used in fireworks, was used as a flavoring salt. Though the mixture burned with a pretty flame in the air, it exploded as if it was enclosed in a bamboo tube. According to the American Pyrotechnic Association, the Chinese then believed that the noise would scare away evil spirits, so they decided to use it at important events such as a wedding, a birth, or even a death. Even before the American Revolution, fireworks played an important part in celebrating important events in the United States. John Adams and the founders of the country used fireworks when independence was declared, and now they have been used ever since. It takes a lot of behind-the-scenes work for our 4th of July celebrations. Everything from the name, to the launch, to the makeup and display takes careful preparation in order to make the magic in the sky. Ever since I was little, I've absolutely loved fireworks. My mom buys loads and loads of them every year for me and my sister to shoot off. I became so fascinated by them, I did a whole research project on them in one of my science classes last year. Ever since then, I've been learning more and more about them. One interesting thing to me is how they are named. From peonies to chrysanthemums, the reason why so many fireworks are named after flowering plants is because they burst out of a seed, or a shell. The shell houses all the necessary ingredients for the fireworks development, much like a seed for a plant. Not only is how they are named cool, but how you make them. It amazes me at how much chemistry is used just to make a firework. According to Dr. John A. Conkling, author of The Chemistry of Pyrotechnics, Basic Principles and Theory, and professor of chemistry at Washington College, everything you see at a fireworks show is chemistry in action. Without chemistry, we wouldn't have burning mixtures, and without burning mixtures, we wouldn't have fireworks. When you think of fireworks, what type of fireworks do you think of? Well, many Americans think of the big ones that blow up in the sky. Well, those are called aerial shells, and this is what they look like before they burst up. They are covered in a cardboard casing. On the inside is a bunch of stuff that becomes fired. I drew an illustration to show you. Out of it comes a long fuse. When that fuse is lit, it goes into a granular black powder propellant, which is at the bottom here. It is also shown right here. When that gets lit, then it lights a time fuse, which is located right here. The time fuse determines when the shell will burst up into the air. The time fuse goes into the black powder bursting charge, which is located right here. The fuse burns into the center. When it reaches the center is when you hear the loud boom in the sky. When you hear the loud boom in the sky, that is when the effect pellets go off. The effect pellets are right here, and they are located outside of the bursting charge. The effect pellets are marble size or green pea shape, and they are what create the color and effects in the sky. This shell is placed in a mortar tube so that it can be launched without touching it. This is an example of a mortar tube. You stick the firework in it, and the fuse sticks out. That way you can light the fuse, and then you have time to run away before it explodes, because if you were holding the aerial shell in your hand, that would cause some serious damage. According to Anne Helmenstein, who has a PhD in chemistry and science, some modern fireworks are launched using compressed air as a propellant and explode using an electric timer. But most fireworks today, like the ones I show here, remain to be launched and exploded using gunpowder right here. After the shell is launched in the sky and it breaks up, you see the magnificent work that the pyrotechnician did on your fireworks. A pyrotechnician is a person who makes and handles the fireworks. Once the shell reaches the sky, the pattern that it makes depends on the arrangement of the star pellets inside the shell. If the pellets are equally spaced in a circle, like this, with black powder inside the circle, right here, the aerial display will be an equally spaced circle in the sky. Now, if you think of a movie that you have you ever seen a movie that has a firework that has words in it? Well, I have, and I always thought, well, that's crazy, that could never happen. Well, in reality, it could. If the pyrotechnician displays the star pellets in words in the firework, or any type of way, that's what will show up in the sky. You could have a smiley face, you could have a star, you could have a circle, or you could have words. It just depends on your pyrotechnician. what you see in the sky is how the pyrotechnician arranged the pellets in the tube. They can pretty much be any color, but if the pellets turn deep blue in the sky, you know you had one of the best pyrotechnicians, because that is the hardest color to make. When you shoot off fireworks this year on the 4th of July, think of everything that they entail. See if you can figure out what it looks like, or when it explodes, or how difficult it was to make it. There's a lot more to a firework than what meets the eye, so when you shoot off fireworks next week, think of everything that you just learned.